Greetings, everyone. We are live. Hey, hey. Greetings, everyone.
Hey, hey.
We are live. Hey, hey. Okay, there we go. Okay, welcome to Patiently Waiting for Nothing. This is episode number 19. Welcome, everyone. This is Mu Shemsu-t. I am excited about tonight's conversation. And you know, I just love talking about patiently waiting for nothing, right? Well, tonight we're kind of tapping into the theme of love, but we're going to go around it talking about astrology, okay? But before we actually bring in my guests and talk about how that relates to relationship, I want to read to you an excerpt from my book, only because I just love this work, right? As many of you know, this work was published in 2002. That was a while ago, but it's still relevant today. So I'm going to read to you, first of all, the affirmation, and then I'm going to read the book, and then I'm going to tell you a suggested reading that you can actually read for yourself to get more insight into love. You can never learn enough about love, okay? Because that's all it really is, okay? So here we go. This is the affirmation. Love flows easily to me and through me while I am loving and lovable. Let me do it again. Love flows easily to me and through me while I am loving and lovable. Love. The truest measure of living is the depth to which we have loved. Its adversary is fear. Search every motive, thought, and intent. Then you will know yourself through the love that you give and receive. When love appears, fear is the immediate force one must face. Whether child or lover, fear can take you away from love. Generating the courage to love is calling each of us, begging us to risk all that we are and all that we have to truly connect and heal our souls. Dare you experience life and never surrender your heart to the purest power of God. Challenge fear to know love. Surrender to the opening of your heart, whether through pain or joy. The expansive nature of love heals. Resisting love is dangerous to the whole of society. Giving into fear only leads us to the destructive clutches of evil. Though I have been hurt many times in love, there has been no greater joy and no clearer access to my purity and my strength. While in my pain, I am willing to welcome love again and again and again. God have mercy on me and my soul. Okay, and then the suggested reading is Enchanted Love by Mary Ann Williamson. Ooh, that gave me chills just reading that, because everybody know a heartbreak can change all of that, right? Okay, so now we've gotten that out of the way, and just imagine what we want to do tonight is we want to learn a little bit more about preparing ourselves and knowing ourselves as we go into relationships. And one of the ways that we can do that is to use astrology. So I want to introduce you to one of my favorite health practitioners. He has. I've been listening to him for a while on the Xavier Fox radio show. So we want to have Brother Samir Ali. Hey, Samir.
Hey there, how you doing?
Okay, thank you for taking time out to join us tonight. I'm so excited to have you for the first time on Patiently Waiting for Nothing. So that means a lot to me. And
Me too.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Feelings mutual.
Okay, so now what I would like you to do is to just introduce yourself to my audience. Tell them a little bit about your background and, a little bit about yourself and then even how you came into this topic of astrology. And then we'll go on from there.
Okay, sure. I mean, outside of the introduction you just gave, I'll just springboard off of that. I grew up a nappy-headed little kid in Chicago, like most people that I know. And, just like everybody else, I came from a family that was functionally dysfunctional. I had a very loving and providing father. I had a very common sense and stern mother, my brothers and sisters and everything. And just like everybody else, completely oblivious to the main question that everybody at some point or another asked themselves. I remember asking myself this question as a child, as a teenager, and of course as an adult. Who am I and why am I here? And so, born and raised in Chicago, I got off into the natural health and, homeopathic side of things, really just from, watching a bunch of my parents, peers and neighbors and social gatherings with family that you've come to know over the years. And, they at some point or another develop some kind of ailment or some kind of sickness or condition. And so by the time I had turned 19, interestingly enough, and this is the 19th episode, when I turned 19, it's funny you say that because my belief, as you know, is that of the Islamic faith. And so the whole entire Quran can be divisible by the number 19.
Wow.
It has a mathematical code of 19.
Okay.
And today what's today's date?
Wow, it's May 19th and it's Malcolm X's birthday. I mean, come on, universe. Wow.
Wait a minute. Whose birthday is it?
Malcolm X, brother.
Oh, yes, exactly. See, you see this? Now listen to this. So, and he is the reason I embraced the Islamic faith.
Wow. Listen.
Because it was reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. I knew before I finished the book that I was Muslim. I just knew it.
Wow.
And no slight, of hand towards any of the other belief systems or anything like that, because even in that, I consider myself to be more spiritual than anything. So I pull from everything. If it makes sense, it makes sense.
Yeah.
If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. No matter. And I like anybody else, I had to detach myself from, do I really believe this because there's an emotional attachment or because I want it to be true? Or, let's test it out and try it. Then I can say, well, I know for a fact, But it was the belief that it didn't focus on like one thing or one aspect or one person. It just basically said, the message is the same. And it embraced everything and everyone, and had like this high respect for women and, everything else. So it caught my attention. But yeah, so Quran is divisible by the number 19. The day is the 19th. It's Malcolm X's birthday. And this is the 19th episode.
And you were 19 when you actually started to looking into this.
And I was 19 when all these epiphanies started coming to me.
You talk about synergy, right? The synchronicity
right.
is
crazy.
crazy.
I did see that, and when you asked me if I would do this, the vibe just came, like, even before the question was finished being read. I was like, yeah, sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I just felt it. So, but back to what I was saying. So basically, just completely at a loss, because there's no one that you come across that can actually give you the answer to that question. You're left to believe where you have to discover that, where you have to find that on your own. So you kind of dismiss it. It's like, okay, that's like the grand question, or the $1 million question, or the $64,000 question. You're just not going to figure that out sitting with yourself for 10 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour, or you sleep on it and you wake up and then there it is. It doesn't work like that. But there isn't any question that you ask that never gets answered. So even when someone dies, or when someone breaks up with you, or something happens, it's a human reaction, because we're not the all-knowing. So if we were the all-knowing, we wouldn't have questions.
Right.
So we ask why, and it's always answered. It may not be answered in that moment or in the way that you think it should come, but it gets answered. So when something happens that you don't approve of, or you don't understand, and you're like, why did that happen? Then later on, you can hear that person saying, oh, that's why that happened. Because if that happened, then in this, it got answered.
That's right. That's right.
Why didn't I get that job? Why didn't I get this job? I wanted this job so bad. Why didn't I get this job? Why? And then something else happens and it opens up. Oh, that's why it got in. So there's not a question that doesn't get answered. So when you ask, why am I here? It's going to get answered. And it may be revealed in a way that you would least expect, or don't have knowledge of, as to the appearance as to how it gets answered. So on this journey, and like everybody else, I had an affinity for my Zodiac sign. I was, I just all in it. Everybody somehow just loves their Zodiac as if it's the best.
Right.
Like you didn't create the sign, the philosophy of it, the reality of it. You just know that it's yours, and and you have zero knowledge of what it really is and what it really means. But you just know it's better than everybody else.
Right.
And that's amazing to me. It just goes to show you how much we're not in control. Because you didn't make that decision. You're not in control. So why was that one of the components of your personality, that you were gifted with on this journey? So, you read up on it because you're searching for answers, because there's no manual to human existence. We may read Dale Carnegie, Think and Grow Rich, or the one by Dennis Kimbrough, or whatever. As a man, think of you. You read your religious text or whatever. Everyone is searching for why, and am I here? What is the purpose of it, and why was I born during this time? So, again, going back to being a nappy-headed little kid, growing up on the southeast side of Chicago, you dismiss it, and you kind of start piecing things together. You piece it together. You notice that the answer is coming to you, but you don't even realize it's the answer. So an argument breaks out with your friends, or some of your friends are closer to you than others, or your family members. You may come from a large family, and for some reason, you're more drawn to another family member more so than you are the other one. Or when it comes to these things, you can relate to this person better than you can that person. And so that answer requires a certain reality that you're not ready for. So before you can understand the answer, you have to be brought into the realization of who you are. So when you realize who you are through life experiences, then the answer comes to you while you're here.
Yeah, I can hear that because I know that there's an African proverb that says the most important thing you can know is yourself. Know thyself.
It's the most, yeah. They said it in the movie The Matrix, know thyself. You've heard it all, but then you have to ask, what is it to know thyself? And so I believe systematically that certain knowledges were kept from us to keep us from knowing that reality. You know, because there's a very powerful force in existence that brought all this into existence.
Yes.
And we cannot comprehend that force unless it allows us to comprehend it. But then there are certain keys or codes that you can learn or practice, and that divine power, that consciousness will start to open up to you. And then you realize, oh, you've been here all along. I thought you just was around when I fell off my bike. Oh, I got scared when that dog was chasing me. You know? Or when I was so drunk, I was outside and everything was blurry, and I was promising you I'd never drink again if you just get me through this.
Wow.
I thought that's when you were around. You would, I dial your number, or, you saved me from a car accident, or I needed something, because, mom and dad said they couldn't get it. So I prayed to you to get it for me. But it was much deeper than that. So you have to mature into the reality of yourself before you can even understand the answer to that question, even though you may have asked that question when you were a child.
Yeah. I can hear that. So that's wonderful. So, when we talk about astrology, that then becomes one of the mechanisms that we use, right? So when you look at relationships, though, in your opinion, outside of procreation, what is the purpose of relationships?
Well, it's interesting because I can only answer from where I'm at in my journey, and someone else can answer from where they are in their journey. And I don't think there's really any wrong or right answer to it. It's just, different ways, because the answer itself has so many different meanings. It's like an ocean of meanings. So, and each ocean of meaning is coming from what somebody perceives. And no one can say whose answer is correct or incorrect. It's just, that's the answer. The answer has many answers. So, in my humble opinion, I would say that the journey is always better when you have someone with you.
Okay.
I may love going to the mall.
But it's better if you have somebody with you.
It's better to have somebody at the mall with me.
Yeah.
I may love to go to a jazz concert, but it's better to have somebody with. I might like going to the movies, but it's better to have somebody with me. So it's just, even in life, if you have just one best friend, then you have everything. Some people don't have a best friend.
Wow.
And I remember reading something on Jalaluddin Rumi. May Allah bless him. He is a Sufi saint. And Rumi asked God to grant him a friend to go on this spiritual journey with him. So that really taught me the importance of having someone with you on that journey, be it a friend, be it a relative, or be it the significant other. You know, and sometimes our journeys are so vast, you require a significant other and a friend and a relative for your journey.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. You know, or you may have 3 best friends. You
a
know,
whole village of
all
friends.
y'all on the same page, you know. So it's like, to me, the purpose of a relationship, whether it's a friendship relationship, a family relationship, or an intimate relationship with somebody, is because it's better when you are taking that journey with someone else.
I like that. And someone to share the experience, you
right.
know, and even witness your experience too, you
right.
know? Mm-hmm. I can hear
so
that.
I have like different sets of friends. And I remember when I was in film school and I got, you know, a friend that I just know that I can trust, you know, through and through.
Right.
Without a shadow. I have friends that I know I can trust through and through. But I have certain friends that are eclectic. I have some that, you know, that they straight up hood. You know, I got some that they're about this aspect of life or that aspect of life. So when I was at film school, I remember I had a story about Paul Max Rubenstein. He was part of the investigative team that found the murder weapon for Charles Manson. And he was one of my screenwriting teachers, screenwriting 1 over at Columbia College in Chicago. He also authored the school manual on screenwriting 1. And so one of our class projects was we had to write a short story. So when you have been gifted with being an artist, you know, it's like you almost can't control your emotions of excitement when you have an idea or when you're on a journey of something coming into fruition. So I wrote this story as a comedy, and I was so proud of it. And then I presented it to him, and I never forget when the grades came out, he gave me an F. And I was shocked because I just knew I turned in, you know, the Bombados. Like, dude, what is you doing here? Like, do you know who I am? And I'm in school. I ain't made no movie, no video. You know, do you know who I am? Right? See? Yeah. So I come in there and he chewed me out. I never forget this. He was eating a sandwich, mouthful of food. And he said, it's unrealistic. It doesn't make sense. And he went down this whole list of things why this was just not a good story. And I said, well, you gave me an F. I said, I want an A out your class. He almost choked doing his food. He threw his head back and he squinted his eyes. And he said, you're not getting an A. I said, but I want an A out your class. He said, you're not getting an A. So you can hang that up. He said, if you rewrite this in 1 week and make it better, I might give you a C.
Wow.
I might give you a C. I went from walking in there like, do you know who I am, to I felt like an ant with 6 broken legs.
Oh.
No, don't.
Well, I'm talking about the 6 broken legs. I mean,
no, ain't no Because, see, that was the 6 legs of arrogance.
Ah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who I am?
Right.
My bad.
Mm.
I crawled up out of there, and I was in a stupor. Because I had put so much emotion into what I, was believing and how I felt. As artists are like children. Just think of actors. They're like children. Like, who wants to live a life pretending?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a child's mind. Although they're adults, they're mature, and they live adult lives, but they're living a life pretending something that they're not. They're children, so they're very delicate. And I didn't know that about actors, but they're very delicate. So, I'm about to be this big famous screenwriter and director, and I'm on my first project at school, and I wrote something that my teacher thought was a piece of crap. I was in such a stupor and so wiped out that I didn't rewrite that paper until the night before.
Oh, no.
And nothing was coming to me as to how to write it. And the vibe wasn't there, but the night before, it all hit me, and it came. And I wrote it out. I spent all night with it, and I went and presented it. And I remember telling this to a particular type of friend who was receptive to this. So, like, the journey is better when you have somebody. This particular friend celebrated my celebrated moments, and it was almost like I relived them all over again from telling that person.
Yes, of course.
So they had that kind of reality about them that they were like, it was like I couldn't wait to tell this person something that happened that was positive or, whatever it may be, because I was going to relive it again. Because they just like got as excited as I was when it actually happened to me. So I told them this story, and I'll never forget. I was sitting in Russell's office, because Russell was a paralegal at the time. I was sitting in Russell's office telling him the exact same story as I told you. And Russell had read the short version of it. And Russell was like, what was wrong with it? And I told him, I rewrote it, not as a comedy, but as a drama. And I got an A on the paper and an A out the class.
Wow.
Russell gave me the strongest black man brother smack on my handshake, and we like pulled each other to it. It was like a mushroom cloud had blew up in the
wow. Yes, because that's exciting.
Because he was so happy that they had, and so the bus, because he and I would ride the bus home from work, because we both worked downtown. The bus ride was just filled with that energy of the success of that story after that.
And I bet the instructor was just as excited too, right? He was excited.
Oh, he was. Mm-hmm. He was actually very proud of me, because I was working night shift, and I would get off third shift 8 in the morning. Or was it 7? No, 7 in the morning, and I would be in his class at 8 a.m.
Wow.
And I would nod off. And then he told me one time, he said, look, you can't be sleeping in class. And I said, Mr. Rubenstein, I don't mean any disrespect, but I work security third shift. And when I get off, I come here. He said, wow, it must be tough on you. I said, I'm trying. So I would fall asleep in the class, and the other students would get ready to nudge me. And then I could hear him saying, leave me alone.
Wow.
He respected me that I was doing what it took and make the sacrifices to become a screenwriter and a film director. So when I rewrote that story, he was impressed with it. And so it's 2 versions to a story now. There's a comedic side, and then there's a dramatic side to the same story.
Yeah, so you can actually write 2 stories, different characters, different actors and actresses.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, to answer your question, I think that the purpose of relationships is to experience all of the things that you're going to experience on your journey with another person, whether it be happiness or, depression, sadness. Because when we get happy, we talk about it. When we get sad or depressed or we get challenged, what we do, we talk about it. So we need somebody there to experience it with us, or who can relate, or, whatever it is we're going through. So I think that is, in my opinion, that's the purpose of relationships outside of procreation.
And it's so interesting because right now in our society, it's such a challenge for people in our community, male and female, to come together and establish a loving, committed relationship. And so part of the work that I'm doing, with my coaching team, with, I have a love team, and we have a group called A Date with Destiny. We're working to have people mature, as you've said over and over again, into an understanding of themselves, so that when they do meet someone, that they are ready to share and participate in the journey, instead of using that person as a form of fulfillment, because, that's where it gets messed up at.
Right. And see, that's interesting you say that, because we have light and we have darkness. There's light in you, there's darkness in you, and then you're caught in the middle of a choice.
Yes.
That's free will. You're free to go to the light, you're free to go to the darkness.
Yes.
It's up to you. And then what may be dark for somebody else may be their light, and then what may be light for somebody may be their dark. Who's to say? Who's to say?
Yep.
Like, who am I to say that, agnostic or atheism or Judaism or Christianity is not the proper way? That's that person's journey.
Mm-hmm.
I've met atheists that were some of the most respectful people.
And loving, the most respectful, positive. Loving,
right.
Nurturing, exactly, yeah.
Yes, and then I got with some people who claimed that they was all about God, and I couldn't wait to get away from them.
Yep. Judgmental and strict.
Oh, come on. Hypocritical, everything.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So, when you eliminate right and wrong, and when you eliminate, positive and negative, good or bad, then you see things differently. Because it's all about perception.
Mm. Okay,
black
so
people,
now, go ahead. Yeah, black people, go ahead.
Black people save plastic bags and got about 10,000 uses for them after they take the groceries out.
Yes. I went to throw a plastic bag away the other day, and my daughter said, "Why are you throwing that away?"
Right.
I said, because I have too many.
Right. It's perception. Like, some people will see it as it has no more use other than to carry these groceries. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to throw it away. But it's perception. So, yeah, it's all about perception. So, but you were getting ready to ask something?
I was going to ask you, how do we then use astrology to support people in their relationships, or even preparing themselves to be in relationships? What is it about astrology, in your humble opinion, that you have discovered that would make a difference for people?
Well, in my humble opinion, as you put it, are you still there?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Did your speaker go out?
No, it didn't go out.
Okay.
A call came.
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
So it's interesting you say that, because on my own journey, I realized something very incredible, but it was always in my face. But now I have definition to it. Mm. So if you are in tune with understanding every aspect of yourself, and that is the whole purpose of life, because we're not human beings on a spiritual journey. We're spiritual beings on a human journey.
Yep.
And so what does it mean to be human? So to be human, well, you first have to have a human shape and form. Because if you were built like a dog, you'd have a dog experience. If you were built like a butterfly, you'd have a butterfly's experience. But you have a human body, so you're on a human journey. So for me, I have realized that every aspect of your personality has its own vibration, like its own sound. And everything that happens to you in your life is to get you to be in tune with all of your musical chords inside of you.
Whoa, I'm sitting here trying to imagine that.
So the problem is, when we come here, we're already programmed, but then life deprograms us, and then we have to reprogram ourselves to get back on the original program. Mm. So when people meet and they don't get along, we can come up with a whole lot of reasons as to why they don't get along. A lot of it is, there is a reality. So let's say you have 19 different musical chords that make up your personality, 19 aspects. So you have your life path number, you have your blood type personality, because blood types carry your personality as well.
Now, you just said 19. Is that 19 specific, or did you just say that as a...
Well, this is my research, and I
So is 19 a real number here?
19 is 19 aspects that make up your personality.
So we in the 19 again. Do you get this? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we're in the 19 again.
Wow. Okay.
So you have the 12 Zodiac Signs. You have your life path number, your primal, your Chinese, your blood type personality, and your Enneagram. And there's like a couple of more. I can't remember off the top of my head. So there's 9 personality traits in the Enneagram. You have a life path number. Oh, you have your rising sign. Okay. And so you have all of these aspects that have to be fine-tuned. Some of them are for friendships only. When you meet somebody, some of them are for business partners only. Some of them are for relationships. But it all depends upon the musical chords as to how the other person you come across was constructed. Think about corporate America. You may get along perfectly well in the work environment. But because people are always seeking that unity, and what are they really seeking? They're seeking unity with the origin, that divine power, the source of it all. So we chase unity with our favorite music or our food or another person, or an event. We're trying to unify with something that we identify with because it vibrates the way we vibrate. It's like when you hear certain music, it does something to you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with a person. Mm-hmm. And so what I do, and I love doing this, is that I let people play their music.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the turn, you got the turntables, and I'm gonna come with the records.
Wow.
I'll be the receiver. Okay, you got the mixer. You got the chords. I got the speakers.
That's deep.
So people may feel like they love being around me or talking to me. All I'm doing is letting you play your music.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm enjoying it with you. Like, oh man, so then I'm adding my music to it.
Right.
That's probably why I'm so fond of house music, because it has so many different genres of music in it, but it's so many different beats. And then you know how, when you hear a good song that you like, and then all the beats are playing, and then some of the beats stop while the other beats are still playing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that pause and everything shut down, then all of them come back and then you start screaming, that's it right there.
That's it right there. I had that experience just this Sunday. Almost hurt myself.
Right.
And when you were saying unity, I was thinking about the word harmonize. We like to harmonize with people. So that's, you're bringing the chords together and you turntable and music.
Right.
And, and it's like it feels good because we're in harmony with each other,
Right.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
It's like when you can't relate to somebody, that means that one or several of those 19 aspects that make you who you are is just not compatible with that person. But because we may have one string that relates to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say I meet someone and I just can communicate with this person so well. We just have great communication.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say I'm in the market for looking for a significant other, and so is she. So, but because we communicate so well, we think we get each other. But then the unseen, like it says in the Quran, this is the way for those who believe in the unseen. The unseen is, I can't see your chart. You can't see mine. I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know how many musical chords you have in tune with mine. All I know is we connected on this communication chord. Mm-hmm. But then we can have so many good, great stimulating conversations. We decide, let's try a relationship. And then it doesn't work. Why? Because our musical tunes didn't make a good song with each other.
So are you saying that before you meet a person or before you take that next step to go into the relationship, you should actually study one another's charts together?
Oh, definitely. You should know your chart by heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guilty of not knowing mine by heart. I know the first 5, but when you get down to the other ones, I got to keep looking it up. And I know about the last 3. And that's only in the neonatal chart. But I know my life path, my Enneagram, my primal, my Chinese. I know that. Mm-hmm. And then, and none of it's going to be 100% accurate. Because we were taught that was witchcraft or...
Oh, come on, that's the devil's playground. What are you talking about? That's the devil's work. That's all. Satan rules all of that. You can't... Don't you bring that up in here. You can't even read it in the newspaper.
Right.
When I was growing up.
When you everybody's different. But I don't know if there is such a thing of getting so into it, depending upon what it is you're using it for. Because some people use it for guidance. Some people use it for daily affirmation. Some people use it to determine, I don't know. But there is a dark side to it. And there's a lot of publications on that, and when you get into the Greek mythology or whatever. So I'm sure to an extent, some of that knowledge has been hijacked by negative forces and use it for whatever purpose they had it for. But I use it as a science. It's a science for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not set in stone because it's not 100% accurate, but it's not 100% accurate because there are 19 aspects that, you know, so if we were just one sign and just one thing, then we could determine if, you know, everybody of this one sign was exactly the same. But because so many other ones are mixed in with it, they affect each other. So it can't be 100% accurate. That's why it's usually in the high 90% range accurate. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. But, you know, it is not meant to replace the divine power or the divine consciousness, you know, whether you call it God, whether you call it Allah, whatever you call it. It's not to replace that. It is a tool to help you navigate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It just helps you to navigate. So, so for me, it's fascinating because whenever I make a friendship or a business relationship, or if I find myself attracted to someone or someone's attracted to me, I want to know why. I want to know what made you attracted to me. Now, before we had this knowledge, then we just thought, oh, okay, Shorty was feeling me.
Right. Exactly. And that was explanation enough. But it wasn't enough.
Explanation enough. I was feeling me.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So let me go look in the mirror and enjoy the way I look. Because somebody likes me. So let me get this boost of confidence and feel normal in society because somebody likes me who's also attractive in my eyesight. But now I'm so far beyond that. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say so far to make it sound like I'm some advanced item or whatever. But now I got to dig. I get to know the person, and then eventually I find out their chart. Oh, okay, so we get along here. This connects. This is why okay. And it's interesting to me, why were we brought to each other during that time? Even if it's somebody that I met that just came and sat next to me in Starbucks.
Wow.
Like, why were you brought to me? Or why were we brought to each, or why did I come and I was drawn to sit in this open space right here in the movie theater or in Starbucks? Or why did I decide to go to this checkout line instead of that one? And then here you are, and now all of a sudden we have a conversation.
So you telling me that when you meet us, and you know what, I'm not laughing at you because
I know.
But you telling me that when you go to Starbucks and you sitting down with a stranger and you having a conversation, you ask them what their birthday is and then look up their astrology sign?
Well, it doesn't happen all the time. It depends on the nature of the conversation.
Okay.
Like, I could be sitting there and they may break ice. Okay, you broke ice. It's like, oh, this is getting real deep here. So my thing is, nothing happens by chance.
Right. No coincidences. Exactly.
There's no such thing as a coincidence. Right. This was all written. It was calculated. It was preordained, predestined. So I'm on this journey. And so you are walking around with an entire 19 aspect chart inside of you. And those were your tools and your vehicle for your journey in life. And there was something about your vehicle and your tools for your journey in life that paralleled my path, even if it was just sitting next to each other in Starbucks.
Yep.
So to me, that's fascinating. I want to know. And so I read, I study the the compatibilities of the zodiacs, and then I study the incompatibilities of the zodiacs for whatever reason. Same with the blood types, same with the Enneagram, same with the life path numbers, the Chinese zodiacs, everything. And it could have been something as simple as we needed to exchange energy with a simple smile or a simple hello or a conversation about something random going on in the world. For that brief moment, our music came together and made some new music, even if it was just for a moment. And then so that music that we made is now with me and is now with you.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, we have people we want to keep making music with.
Now, I want to actually be more practical here. I want to know, for the people who have no idea how deep this can get, how do they start using astrology for themselves or even in their relationship? What's the practical side of it?
Well, they just have to start studying. So everybody, they know that everyone knows their sun sign. We grew up, it's almost like it was the first words we spoke after mom and dad.
Mm-hmm. What's your sign? Right.
Right. What's your sign? Right. What's your sign?
Mm-hmm.
And, but be that interested in knowing all of the other 18 aspects in addition to that one that you do know, and then find out how much you really do or don't know about that one. And so know about yourself. Like, and a lot of people, they may consider that not knowing yourself, or that doesn't exist, or that can apply to anybody. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. And it's up to you. If you don't want to delve into it, that's fine. It's knowledge. It's all about perception. How do you want to look at it? You want to look at it as devil worship? You want to look at it as something we shouldn't be doing? You want to say, oh, well, you go back in history, the Egyptians did all that, or the Greeks did all that, and that's how they came up with the Greek gods and all. That's fine. That's your perception. Don't see it as such. You have your journey. You have to take that. But for those that want to do this, I'm here to tell you, it's fascinating. I'm having a ball.
But it seems like that would take up a lot of time to just meet people and do their reading. I mean, who has time to do that?
No, it's not like that. It's more so like you are conscious of all of your makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what yours is.
Right.
And so when people are coming into your life, you know that they're coming into your life is because something in your chart was compatible with something in their chart. And so I actually find out about these other people because I want to know what exactly that was. So if it's a woman that's attracted to me, there's behavior codes. Why were you attracted to me?
So behavior codes is something that's real or something that you created in your science of studying astrology and relationships?
No, it's real. It's real. So like, let's just say that somebody is compatible with you on a friendship level.
Mm-hmm.
Because something in you all's chart match. You ever met somebody, a complete stranger, and for some reason they just took some high liking to you?
All the time.
Right. And you didn't know why.
Well, I say it's because I'm Thursday born. And Thursday born is known to be the sign. It has the energy of Ma'at, Tahuti, whatever, but it's known to have a universal energy. So most people are drawn to them if they're Thursday born.
Okay. Now, I have that same thing.
You're Thursday born?
I'm not Thursday born. I'm Monday born.
Okay.
And so I have that type of personality where complete strangers will come up to me and start telling me personal business.
Yep.
So that's a good reality to see. You know that about your chart. Mm-hmm. Oh, the other one was the day you were born. So even the day you were born, it has a specific personality that's individualized outside of your sun sign and everything else.
So those 19 aspects are part of the behavior codes?
Yes. Okay. So all of us have it. All of us have the ability to connect with anybody on the planet. Mm-hmm. There's something in your chart that can connect with another person, even if it's just one chord of music.
Right.
But we want to find the most chords that we connect with because that's part of the goal. Because that's the most enjoyable.
And is that then what actually leads to compatibility when you have the most chords that connect?
In my experience, that has been the case. And it all depends on not necessarily the most chords that connect, but the type of chords that connect also.
Mm-hmm. And then I think what would have to be in there is how much personal development or growth or spiritual understanding that person has. Because a lot of times coming from the environment, especially in our community, coming from environments where there was so much dysfunction, many of us grow up repelling people. I know I couldn't figure out why nobody ever liked me until I actually had to do the work of what my childhood environment was and what it took for me to survive that. So I had to literally release a lot of that frequency and vibration.
And you know what? I'm glad you said that because when we were born, there was nothing wrong with our musical chords.
Right.
That was an untouched reality of 19 aspects that made you who you were. Mm-hmm. Now, you have to grow into the knowledge of what that is. And, you know, those experiences are designed from your birth to your death. It is designed to mature you in those aspects of you. And so you have to go through, you have to know both sides. You don't know what bad music is until you heard good music.
Yeah, both sides could also equate to dark and light too. Yeah, I can see that.
Right. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah. Mm-hmm. So your journey, no matter how much you disagree with what went down, or you know, like I said, why you didn't get that job, you know, why did this person leave or did they die? Why did the business venture fail? That's all part of your 19 aspect journey to get you to the understanding of that question, why are you here? Mm-hmm. And when you realize why you are here, because there's so many aspects to it, it's not just like one thing. You know, you have a purpose with your family, you have a purpose with your children, you have a purpose with your, you know, employees or whatever, you have a purpose with your peers, your friends, you have multiple purposes. But even all of those multiple purposes have been included in your 19 aspect chart that makes up who you are. You've been fully prepared for the journey that's coming. Even though you don't know the answers are being revealed to you in life experiences.
This is so deep because I'm sitting here writing a class. I'm like, we need to know this.
Right. So I think that everyone should start out with their. And a lot of people ignore certain things. So it's not just the zodiac, you know.
Right.
So you should learn the 12 aspects in your neonatal chart and know what each one of those mean. Because I show that to people and they're like, okay, what does this mean? So then I tell them, okay, your sun is your outer personality. Your moon is how your mind operates, your emotions, your inner thoughts. Your Mercury is your communication. Your Venus is how you seek out love. Your Mars is how you express anger, aggression, and your sexual expression. And then they're like, okay. That's like a lot. Because remember, hey, we just told that one sign we are.
Yep.
Now you telling me there's 18 more aspects I gotta find out about myself? I'm cool with just knowing that one sign.
And it's so interesting because when I think my Aquarius is in Venus, and Venus is in Aquarius. How do you say that? Venus is in Aquarius?
Right. Your Venus is in Aquarius.
Yeah, which means that I am a person that has to be free, right? So you put me in a relationship that's confining, it's not going to work for me. But imagine a society that says that women are supposed to be a certain way in relationships.
So now you take that, you take the reality of Aquarius. It's still that reality, but it's that reality in your communication. But it also affects other parts of your mind, because you can't communicate without your mind, because it happens with a thought. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that Aquarius communication is affecting some of but your moon may be in another. It may not be in Aquarius.
My moon is in Gemini, right? But yes.
So, but then here's the interesting part. Gemini and Aquarius are both air signs, so they're compatible. Your mind is compatible with your communication. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's harmony in the way you communicate, because there's not a conflicting sign. But even if you have conflicting signs, which we all do, we have conflicting signs, it still produces a harmony. But on the outside of us, these conflicting signs may not necessarily produce that harmony. And it could be something as simple as that person is not evolved in that particular aspect of their musical chord, or either they are or they aren't.
So is there a way for people who are in relationships that you could use astrology to help them to become more compatible in their relationship when they're looking to end it because they don't know how to make it work? Can you use the knowledge of astrology to probably help them have a more harmonious relationship?
I would definitely say so, because it would help to know that the button to let the sunroof or the drop top down was in the glove compartment. Mm-hmm. You want to let the drop top down, but you don't know how. But if you don't study yourself, you didn't know that button was in the glove compartment.
Man, you better say that. Right.
So if you want something to work, you have to know you first. Then you have to understand what attracted you to each other. So when you understand which signs are compatible, you know that's where the attraction came between you two.
So there are signs that are naturally compatible?
Yes, there are. All of the signs are compatible with themselves. Well, they say Sagittarius is not compatible with each other, but all of the water signs are compatible with each other. All the earth signs are compatible with each other. Fire and earth. And then you have water and earth that's compatible with each other. And fire and air are compatible with each other. But then there's conflicting. Fire and earth don't go together. Fire and water don't necessarily go together. Air and earth don't go together. Air and water don't go together. But water and earth are compatible, and fire and air are compatible. So find out what it means to have these zodiac signs and these planets in your chart. Understand why you are wired the way that you're wired. And then find out which ones are compatible with the other person's chart, and understand what drew you to each other, why you're compatible, and then understand what signs you have that conflict. And now you can understand why you bump heads in these areas. Mm-hmm. Let's say you have an emotional attachment to somebody, you want to call it love. Let's say your Venus has two compatible signs. let's say that you're a Sagittarius Venus and then the other person is a Gemini Venus. That's fire and air. Those are compatible. So you all just are drawn to each other so strongly. But then your Mars, your sexual expression, you have two conflicting signs. You love each other, but the sex is not as great. Because your sexual expression signs aren't compatible. Or you love being around this person, but then y'all can't communicate. So what's in your Mars? Is your Mars compatible with that other person's Mars? I mean, Mercury. Mercury's communication.
So, it's so interesting because in Master Force, we actually use the love cards, the destiny cards, and it's work by Robert Camp. And we use, birth cards and planetary ruling cards and look at that. Are you familiar with that? With the destiny?
I am.
Mm-hmm. Is that in that same compatibility realm?
Oh, definitely. Mm-hmm. Definitely, because that's part of the 19 aspects.
What part is? Knowing your cards?
The destiny cards, yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
The destiny cards, the Enneagram, the life path, primal, Chinese, blood type.
Moon, sun, rising. Mm-hmm. Sun, moon, rising. Right.
And you're rising, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's 7. Let's do it again. Destiny card is 1.
Mm-hmm.
Enneagram, that's 2.
Mm-hmm.
Life path.
Mm-hmm.
Blood type.
Mm-hmm.
Chinese.
Mm-hmm. Moon, sun.
No. You're rising.
Rising.
Your rising sign.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other one? Primal. You're primal.
Primal.
That's 7, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, that's 7.
And then your 12 zodiac aspects in your neonatal chart.
Oh, wow.
That's 19.
Mm-hmm.
So when you learn all 19, because I didn't know until maybe 10 years ago that blood types are attracted to each other.
Really?
There's a love compatibility in your blood type.
And I guess that's important to know before you have children, isn't it?
Yes, because 2 blood type O people, the woman is usually dominant in their relationship.
Mm.
Not all the time, but yes. Blood type B and B is boring.
Boring for real?
Yes.
Wow.
But blood type O with A or blood type O with B, those are ideal relationships.
This really is something about knowing yourself. I mean, whoever stops and tell you need to know all of these different, it's just so fascinating.
Right. And it's 19 aspects of it. So you like your Enneagram,
Yeah, I'm a 5 Enneagram. Yeah, I know. Okay. It's so interesting you're saying this. Is like, yeah, I know all these.
Right. So
hasn't been any good in relationships though. So just knowing is not the key.
So you're a 5, and there are 2 other personality types that are compatible with that 5.
Wow.
I looked it up.
With the 5?
Yes. I mean, I don't know offhand, but I'm saying that there's compatibility in the Enneagram.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Life path.
My life path is
path number. Now, I'm a master number 11, but my life path number is a 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm compatible with someone whose life path number is a 1 or a 7.
Yeah, I'm an 8 and a 4.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you have to know what's your life path number. What's your Enneagram? What's your blood type personality? And what other blood types are drawn to you just based on blood type? what's your rising sign? And what's the compatibility of their rising sign? So my rising sign is Scorpio, although my sun sign is in Scorpio. But my rising sign is Scorpio. So my, significant other, their rising sign has to be compatible with Scorpio, which is either going to be an earth sign or another water sign.
Yeah, I happen to have the same sun and rising Capricorn. Both of them are dominant,
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to know all 19. Just like there was a time I went to the Lilith. So my Lilith is in Gemini. So I researched Lilith in Gemini. Mm-hmm. And it was deep.
Definitely deep.
Yeah, it was deep. Because then people were like, oh, Lilith. Okay, isn't that the one that they say Adam was married to? And she was the one who came before. I don't care nothing about that story.
That's the myth, right? The mythology of it, exactly.
You're right. That's the mythology. I don't know nothing about no Lilith. Okay, call her what you want to call her. Whoever. She got a book. Oh, that's even better.
Go read it.
Go read it if it interests you. But whatever they call it, I don't care if they just color coded all of this stuff.
Yeah.
If my Aquarius was in blue, and then my Capricorn was in green. Okay, then I'm gonna study that. But so go to Google and say Sun Capricorn woman.
Mm-hmm.
Mercury Gemini woman. So on and so forth. And find out and then do double. Do Sun Capricorn Gemini Mercury woman. And see what those two signs combined mean. So like you can do Venus Aquarius, Mars Taurus, man or woman, whatever you are. And find out why you choose and express love and anger and aggression the way you do. Mm-hmm. You can only do two at a time, but do them singularly and then do two at a time, and find out everything about yourself.
I know when I did the primal, and mine came back a B, and it was like, yeah, you gonna work your ass off for your family and friends. I was like, no.
But see, just like with the whole thing, so what is your destiny card?
My destiny card is a Queen of Spades.
Okay, so you're a Queen of Spades, and then your primal is a B, so that would make you the Queen Bee.
The Queen Bee, okay.
The Queen Bee. And so with Master Force, you've basically created a hive.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So what does the Queen Bee do? The Queen Bee makes sure that everybody in the hive is up to par.
Wow.
Like the mother of everything.
Mm-hmm. That was fascinating because if I'd have known I was a Queen of Spades because even when I went to college, everybody came to me like I was the mother, and I'm like, we're the same age. Why are you asking me,
Right.
But that was my natural state of being, and was always resourceful, always knew the answer or how to find the answer. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so the other interesting part of that is, so it gets into your diet. So I remember I on the job, and I was making a pickup, and the lady, she had got used to seeing me and everything, and so we were talking, and she was telling me about her mom was having these health, issues, and so quite naturally, I just went into it, and I said, okay, I wrote some stuff down. I said, tell your mother to use this. This is for this. This is for that. So on and so forth. So I asked her, did you know that your health was also based on your zodiac sign? She was like, no, I ain't never heard that before. I said, so what's your sign? So she said, Gemini. I said, okay. So we looked up Gemini, and I said, these are the foods that contain the cell salt for Gemini. And she was like, "Oh my God, I love eating bananas, and it says here that I like bananas." I said, "Okay." So then we looked up her Chinese sign.
Don't tell me it was a monkey.
It was a monkey.
Wow.
So then we combined her Chinese sign with her sun sign, Gemini. And listen to this. She told me she loved eating fish. She said she loves eating fish and bananas. Well, bananas and fish. She said it in that order. She said she eats fish all the time. We looked up her primal sign. Her primal sign was a seal.
Get out of here.
And I said, "What do seals eat a lot of?" She said, "Fish."
Man. That's deep. But I tell you what, we just got some behavior codes because we're putting together in our series A Date with Destiny. That becomes now our part of our matching, the criteria, our matching criteria. Yeah.
Right. So it's like, so I'm fond of music.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't have a radio without radio stations. So each person that I come in contact with, they're not just one song. They're their own station playing music.
Mm-hmm.
So then when we mix our musical chords together, this is the song that we're producing on that radio. The radio of life.
Wow.
So I'm always honored to hear somebody's music when I meet them because I have no control over who I'm meeting, when I'm going to meet them, how I'm going to meet them, what they're going to look like, what was their age or their ethnicity or what. I don't have any control over that. I'm just going for the ride.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what songs we playing today, God?
That's pretty good. That's a nice affirmation. What song are we playing today, God?
What song we playing today? I know my own music.
Yeah.
But what does my music sound when I'm on the podcast with Rita?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How does Rita's music sound when she's on a podcast with Ali, with Samir Ali? Mm-hmm. Or that family member, or that best friend, or that coworker at work we can't stand.
Right, yeah.
Or that neighbor that we love, or the neighbor we don't like, or you know what I'm saying? Like, all the kids in your backyard, and it's so and so's kids. You like them kids, but then that's so and so's bad little boy or bad little girl. Like what song we playing today, God?
Yeah, because you can actually enjoy the music without saying what you like or dislike about it. You can just
it's not about that.
Right.
That's
you
your
can
opinion.
just enjoy it. You can just be
That's
present to it for what your opinion does not have to color it. You can just allow it, just observe it, just be present to it. Just,
Right. Mm-hmm. Like some people see a wasp and they get scared. Mm-hmm. Perception.
Because they think of getting bit, right? It's not the animal.
Yeah, they think about, the only thing that they know about their wasp is stinger.
The stinger. Mm-hmm.
That's perception. They see a bee. They start running and swinging and everything. But, bees start pollinating vegetation, we'll all die.
Oh, we gotta have a bee. Look at that. Hello, I just made a connection. Okay.
You see that?
I just got that. Yes.
Right. So with Master Force, you're pollinating the flowers.
Mm-hmm.
So that they can bloom.
Mm.
But you had to get in touch with your musical chords, understand your music, and then know that, those musical beats don't mix well with mine. Now, there are boundaries. This music plays very well with mine. Oh, this music is mediocre with mine. This music is outstanding with mine. Mm-hmm. But that came from your journey of knowing yourself.
Yeah.
So you have to use the zodiacs to understand, because there's no manual on being you. But then when someone has actually done the research and then they write about it, and then you cross-reference, you study more than one site. Some people are not fond of research. They rather hear everything they learn. They don't want to do the work themselves. But you go and you look at it. You don't have to look at all of it all at once. Just, take some time, right before you go to bed, or, on your lunch break, check it out. Check this one out. Then check the other one out. Then check this out. And then when you have memorized, after you cross-reference different sites, when the sites start to say the same thing, that's when you know it's pretty much accurate. And then what you know from yourself is accurate before you go to bed, or much accurate. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm hearing the echo. And then what you know from yourself is accurate before you go to bed, or much accurate.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So then when you know that you are an entire band.
House music. Come on.
That's right. You are an entire band. Do you understand me? You are an entire band. But what is the band without the audience to dance to the band's music?
Yeah, but I like to dance to. Sometimes I don't need an audience to dance.
No, you don't. Sometimes you don't, because before we go to the party, we in the mirror practice. You remember that?
I do remember that in our teen. I mean, I used to step with the three guys in the neighborhood. We would practice in my living room before we went to the Hell's Franciscan party. But
Come on. Come on.
We would practice all week in my living room. Exactly. Yeah.
And then you practice in your car when your favorite song come on.
No, we just jamming then.
We jamming, and you got the music that really gets you going while you're driving.
Yeah.
You got and then the song's still playing in your head. You done got the car parked, and you walking in the building, but that song you still moving to that song. Mm-hmm. So when you realize that you are a band capable of playing multiple genres, and as an artist, you appreciate other people's music.
Wow. That is phenomenal, Samir. I love that analogy. That is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah.
So even if you dislike that person, know that God had a reason why they are in existence. You question why they were born, but God saw fit for them to be here. So you need to respect the fact that they're here, not by your divine will or your choice, but something even more greater and powerful than you are. And they're here to play their music for whomever it's supposed to be for, even if it's just for one person on this earth. Mm-hmm. That's what they were supposed to play it for, or multiple people. Just like Prince and Michael Jackson, their music affected the world. Mm-hmm. Malcolm X music affected the world. Nelson Mandela, Albert Einstein. Mm-hmm. Their music affected the world because of the music they were giving out, even though it wasn't considered a song, but it was still music, and we all heard it, we all respected it. So to the point, it's like Bruce Lee, Muhammad Ali. Bruce Lee's music affected the world. Mm-hmm.
He was a six of heart.
He's a six of heart. So again, him and Jimi Hendrix share the same birthday, November 27th. And so all of that was the vehicle. Your band, that's your band. You here to play some song. everybody was in tune with Bruce Lee's music. And look how in tune Bruce Lee was with himself. He had a philosophy. He was very deep.
And I bet he was in tune with every cell of his body.
Right. Yeah. It just goes to show you how there's no limit to this. Some people astroplane or they levitate or whatever. That's basic stuff. Okay, you sat with your legs crossed and you lifted up. That's basic, believe it or not. You ain't need nothing deep.
Yeah.
The devil can levitate.
I remember reading something that said, people talk about Jesus walked on water, but a lot of people in that Nicene camp walked on water. That was basic. You needed to be able to walk on water, change the water to wine, and raise people from the dead. That was basic.
Hold on. Didn't Jesus say you're going to be able to do things far greater than this?
Yep. You've seen me do this, and you'll be able to be greater. Right.
So what was that's why they're called prophets, because we gained something. Like that's why they try to that's why it's called, when you make money, it's a profit.
Oh, okay. Come on, brother.
The word profit.
Yeah.
Profit. Okay, so they were prophets because they were coming to show you how to profit, not to call yourself a prophet necessarily, but you're profiting from what it is they're showing you. So they reach these high level of musical chords in themselves.
Within their
soul.
And
they were showing you, when you reach these high levels of musical chords, this is what you can do. Not for you to say, oh, you're a god now. No, just cut it out. Last week you was broke and wondering about how you're going to pay your bills. Now this week you done read 2 books and you're a god. Okay, whatever. Whatever. Just cut it out. Stop.
Yeah. Keep reading. Keep studying. And the thing is, reading doesn't give you the knowledge. The application is what gives you the knowledge. Reading just gives you information,
Exactly.
Knowledge comes from using it. Mm-hmm.
Here it is. Because none of those prophets, you see all the miracles that they perform, and nobody that can perform one of those miracles. And the prophets weren't calling themselves God. Why are you calling yourself God?
Right.
Hello?
Yeah.
It's just right there. It's common sense. Let it go. So, but anyway, they came to show you that this is the honor of being human beings, because gerbils are not performing these miracles. Mm-hmm. Eagles can fly and do all this amazing stuff and see colors that we can't, but they can't perform these, what we call miracles. So we've been honored to be human beings, and we have the most fascinating journey out of anything in existence.
Yeah.
But you have to discover it. It's not going to be given to you. So you have to, like you always say, do the work. You got to put in the work.
Put in the work.
Yeah, you got to put in the work. You got to face every part of you, because you didn't choose the darkness. Mm-hmm. The darkness was given to you, but it's also light in you. You got to explore your light side, and you got to explore your dark side. You got to know both sides, because that's part of you. Mm-hmm. You like your house, don't you?
I do love my space.
Exactly. You love your house, and you love the way it looks when the sunlight shines in on it, don't you?
I certainly do. And my plants love it. Yep, my plants love it too. Yeah.
And your plants love it too. Mm-hmm. Okay, but guess what? When the lights go out, it's dark, but it's still your house.
Yeah.
So do you hate your house when the lights is out?
No.
Exactly. It's still the same house you love. Just the sun done went down. It's time for you to go sleep. And you're sleeping in the darkness. So understand your own darkness. It's part of your house. Mm-hmm. It's not to be feared. It's not to be avoided, because you're not going to experience piercing levels of light if you don't understand the murkiness of your own darkness.
Wow. Okay, now we've been talking for a while.
Okay.
This is really, really good. I'm going to have you come on, and I know that there'll be plenty of questions. I'm looking, everyone's so mesmerized. They're not asking questions right now, but I'll definitely do a follow-up show. But what do you have any books you can recommend that people can study for relationships or for themselves even? Do you have any books that you would tell people to get so they can begin? I know you said for them to look up Google, use Google.
Yeah. Yeah. So my first book, and it was because of health and cell salts and all that, and diet, was The Only Astrology Book You'll Ever Need.
That's
by
the title?
Martine L. Woolfolk. Yeah. The Only Astrology Book You'll Ever Need.
The only astrology book you will ever need.
You will ever need.
And who's the author?
I think it's Martine Woolfolk.
Martine Woolfolk. Okay. Cool. All right. And that'll give us all the give us the 12 aspects that match the other 7, right?
Oh yeah, you can study everything in there from your rising sign to all of the 12 aspects, your Mercury, your Moon, your Venus, all of that is in that one book.
Okay.
But that is your introduction. Then, once you continue on, then you want to get another book called The Secret Language of Birthdays.
The Secret Language of Birthdays.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm not quite sure I remember the author of that, but it's only one book titled that.
Okay.
The Secret Language of Birthdays. And that book is going to tell you about your personality based on the day you were born.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So just these two, or you have some...
Say again?
Those are the first 2 we should start with, right?
Those are the first 2. And you're going to be so busy with those that, you're going to be intrigued to go further. And so stuff like the Enneagram, that's the EnneagramInstitute.com, which is ENNEAGRAM, Enneagram Institute.com. You can Google blood type love compatibility and then go click on images and just start reading different images.
What did you say? What was it? Blood type?
Yeah, blood type love compatibility. Just type that in. Bing or Google, whichever one you choose. And go from there.
Okay.
And you'll see, that your blood type carries a personality, and there's a love compatibility that matches your personality based on your blood type.
That is so deep. I think that's the newest thing I heard today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Find out your rising sign. Most people don't know their rising sign, but your rising sign has a soul's purpose.
Cool.
And your soul's purpose on your rising sign helps you to understand, partly like why are you even here?
Mm-hmm.
And so you can actually, let me see, let me look this up. You can actually
it's so great because most of these in our advanced course, the people who are certified to be life coaches, as well as also in our couple schools, we do have people go through all of understanding their zodiac, their sun, their moon, their rising, as well as their Chinese astrology, their life path. So it's going to be fun to add the blood type in there because that's the only, because we do the Enneagram, but it's going to be fun to, add that level of understanding in there.
Definitely. By all means, add it.
Yeah.
And, find out your personality. And then once you, and there's a compatibility, a love compatibility based on the day you were born, based on the day that other person was born.
Right. Now we can do those with the destiny cards too. Right. Mm-hmm.
You can do that with the destiny cards, but see that brings a different element into it.
So wait a minute. So you're saying with the blood type love compatibility, there's a day in there?
No.
Okay, got it.
That's in the secret language of birthdays.
Oh, in the secret language of birthdays. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. That book is going to tell you about your personality based on the very day you were born.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Cool. So, now let me ask you, are you currently working on any projects that would interest the audience that they should know about or be looking out for?
I am currently working on a book called The Science of You.
The Science of Youth?
Yeah, of you.
Y-O-U. Oh, okay. That's cool. The Science of You. And it includes some of this information you're sharing with us?
All of it.
That is wonderful. When are you planning on putting that out?
You know what? I am so busy. I hate to give deadlines because then I feel.
But you think it'll be within a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Should be within the year. But yeah, it definitely is. The project that I'm currently, one of many projects that I'm working on, but and it's the journey because it's requiring me to do even further research.
Yes, and then you're also getting to know yourself even better in the process, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's what I like about projects. It's so expansive, even though you're doing it to give a contribution to society, you still get so much out of it for yourself.
Yes, you do. You get a whole lot out of it. And
now, do you have any way for people to engage with you if people wanted to follow you or just find you and ask you questions or even maybe invite you to their platform? Is there a way that they can engage with you?
Yeah, just sit next to me in Starbucks.
You're so silly. Oh, okay. We gotta find you a Starbucks. Any particular Starbucks? The one in Hyde Park, the one downtown? Which Starbucks?
Actually, it's interesting because I don't necessarily have a social media page that I give so much energy to keep alive because there's so many things that I'm involved in. It's like it would be neglected, so it would be a disservice to say, yeah, you can come, and then it may be some weeks that go by
and you won't even see the message. Exactly.
I won't even see the message, and that's like I'm gonna read it. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna feel bad. I'm like, oh wow. This person, was reaching out trying to connect, and, I wasn't able to connect back with them. But at the moment, they would have to come through you, and then we could probably do a one-on-one.
Okay.
That would be the best, and that the most honest, situation that I could give somebody at this time.
Yeah, most of the heavy hitters in my life don't have social media and feel that same way. That it's they would really neglect any type of socialization on there. Because they don't frequent it like that.
Right.
I get
So,
that.
and it's not intentional. I would like to be more available, but my work really just right now just doesn't include being on social media. At some point it will, but right now it's just not, But I'm looking for that to change, and I'm sure it's going to change pretty soon.
Well, I want to thank you for making time for us and just giving us so much information. And the time just really flew by. I looked up and it's like, oh wow, okay.
Right.
So certainly we'll have you come back again. But do you have any last words for our audience before we sign off?
I do. Pace yourself and enjoy the journey of finding out why you play the music that you play, and get in tune with it. Maybe some of your music is off. Maybe one or two of your beats are off, so it's affecting the whole song. So once you get in tune with how all of your music is supposed to play, then you're naturally going to be drawn to and attract those that you're supposed to be around and them around you, because it's just all a reflection. It's like, when you're at the party and that favorite song comes on, you jump up, you start dancing, and then the DJ starts to blend in that other song, and you can hear it coming in, and then you start, woo, because that song coming on,
Yes.
And you hear it playing. Yeah, that's just how it is. So once you get in tune with your music that you've been given, that's specific to you, then when you meet other people, you're going to start hearing the other songs come in. And then as the music starts playing, you're going to start, it's going to be that happiness, like, woo! And then next thing you know, something is coming out of that. And that's part of your journey.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Part of your journey. So I'm going to leave you guys with this. Find out your rising sign. It goes by when you were born, the time you were born. It's very important you know this. Most people neglect this part of the chart, but your rising sign is your soul's purpose, or it helps you to gain more understanding and into you and why you're here. It's part of it, not all of it, but it gives you a little bit more insight, and it's at a website called Your Rising Sign, Your Soul's Purpose by Ruth Haddikin. That's Ruth, and Haddikin is Haddikin. I is an indigo. Haddikin. And it's ruthhaddikin.com. And just scroll down. They have videos that you can listen to. And you can listen to them repeatedly. And find out your soul's purpose, your neonatal chart, on cafeastrology.com, and enjoy it. Just find out, what's the good and the bad about you. Fine tune it, understand it, and then you can enjoy other people's music better.
And I just want to add to what you were saying about the birth time. When back in the day, they used to have your birth certificate, and they had your time on there. And in recent years, they've taken that off. They just have, where you were born and the date. So you would have to go to the Bureau or call into or write a website, the Bureau of Vital Statistics, and you would have to request the long form, a long version of your birth certificate in order to know the exact time that you were born. But it does make a difference. It makes a huge difference. So do that extra step.
Yes, and it's just like your blood type. Doctors always know your blood type, but they tell you it's not important, that you don't need to know that, but it's your blood. You should know what type of blood you are, because your diet is based on your blood type, as well as your zodiac chart. You have to know what you're supposed to eat and what you're not supposed to eat. So don't let a doctor tell you you don't need to know your blood type.
Very cool. All right, Brother Ali, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for educating us and bringing us up to speed. I'm excited because I see several things coming out of this.
Yeah, hey, thank you, Queen B, for having me. I was honored to be invited to the hive.
Okay.
So,
I'm going to have to get a T-shirt or something, right?
yeah. We got to get a T-shirt. So it's official now. But yeah, anytime you want me to come on the show, I'll be more than happy to come and, play music with the group.
Yeah, and then also, I just want to also make note that you are the first Monday of each month on the Xavier Fox radio show.
That is correct.
And he's always
giving
these health tips. I mean, it's early. It's at 7:00 in the morning on a Monday. And I'd be like, dang, really, dude? But,
I know, right?
But I try to tune in as often, and it never disappoints. Never disappoints. So.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Likewise. So your show on the Xavier Fox radio show is at, what is it, the first Thursday of every month?
Yep, first Thursday. Mm-hmm. Day I was born.
Yes,
that was the day you were born. Okay, got it. Okay, cool. That's good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it never disappoints. Her show it's like, you know how you frown your eyebrows up, because you got that look because somebody's saying something so deep. That's how it is when your show comes on. It's like, okay, this what we going? Oh, that's deep.
That's what Xavier. She's like, oh my goodness, Miss Rita. That's what we get ready. We going there.
Right. So I just on Thursdays. I just put on the oxygen tanks, the flippers,
deep dive,
the goggles. It's like, okay, let's go. Rita's show's coming on, so I'm just sitting there, waiting for the show. Then you pop it in, and next thing I know, I'm just like, wow.
I was just telling my BFF, I was hanging with her for a couple of days. But it's so interesting to grow up and people say, you so deep, you too deep, and then to finally meet a group of people that appreciate your depth. You know what I'm saying? Because it's rare. You can't go in circles where people want you to go deep. Most time people like, sit down and be quiet or go dance.
Right. And see, that's just it. How long you had your inner band been playing its own music?
A long time, by myself.
Right. That's why you so deep.
Yeah. And I did not choose earlier mates that appreciated, because I didn't know. I had no idea that was one of the criterias,
Yeah.
So. Well, thank you, sir, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will be listening for you, and when your book comes out, I will definitely let my audience know and do what I can to promote
definitely.
It.
Okay. Well, thank you again. Like I said, anytime. So if anybody needs to talk to me or has any questions, I don't have a particular platform for you to reach me on, but you can notify Rita of it, and we can go from there.
Okay.
I look forward to talking to whomever, so because it's written. So whomever is written for me to talk to and play some music with, let's do it.
Very cool. All right, guys. So I want you guys to be listening for me next week. I will be talking to Catherine Winston, and we will be discussing the needs of people who are dealing with disability or the people who are senior citizens. And, it's so interesting because I now am in that category. I'm laughing because, I I still have to adapt to it. So, but anyway, join us next week on Patiently Waiting for Nothing. And in the meantime, take time to get to know yourself. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Good night.